Hello, friends. Welcome to today's daily devotion. We're continuing to look at Romans, the 6th chapter. Today we're starting in verse 5 and reading through verse 10. Hear now these words. If we have become united with him by the act symbolic of his death, then surely we will also become united with him by the act symbolic of his resurrection. We also recognize the truth that our old self was crucified with Christ in order that the body, the stronghold of sin, might be rendered powerless, so that we should no longer be slaves to sin. For the man who has so died has been pronounced righteous and released from sin. And our belief is that as we have shared in Christ's death, we will also share his life. We know indeed that Christ, having once risen from the dead, will not die again. Death has no power over him, no longer. For the death that he died was a death to sin, once and for all. But the life that he now lives, he lives for God. So having announced that we have freedom from sin, Paul dives into the details of how this is possible. And he uses a classic if-then logic. If we are united in death with Jesus, we are united in resurrection with Jesus. Then the old self is dead, the new self is alive, the stronghold of sin has been rendered powerless, and we were slaves now being freed, released from our bondage. If Jesus died once, he won't die again, then death's power? It has no power. Sin, its power? It has no power. Our life lives for God. So if this is the state of Jesus, freed from sin, freed from death, none of it has power over him, then it's our status, our state, our situation too. My friends, you don't have to sin. This is what John Wesley described as the great depositum of the Methodist faith, that we are freed from sin and are able to be made perfect in this life, fully holy through the grace, through the love of God. Now, not explicitly stated but implied by this is the assumed else in the logic. If, then, else. Or here's the else. If none of this is real, then none of it matters. And we're still stuck in our sinfulness, in our helpless state, and there is no hope. My friends, faith is believing in the if-then of Jesus. If he died and we died with him, if he raised and we are raised with him, then we have new life. We have freedom from sin, believing God when he says this is what happens. Then this is what happens. So what do we do with it? We'll come back for our next daily devotion.